sujatau bimbadharam vigata kunkuma pankaragam vaktram nate vitilakam malinam viharsham samrambha bhimam avimrishtamapeta Pashyestana vapishucho pahatau sujatau bimbadharam vigata kunkuma pankaragam vaktram nate vitilakam malinam viharsham samrambha bhimam avimisritam avimrishtamapeta samrambha bhimam avimrishtamapeta pashyestana vapishucho pahatau sujatau bimbadharam vigata kunkuma pankaragam vaktram nate vitilakam malinam viharsham samrambha bhimam avimrishtamapeta ragam Matajis Vaktram face na never te your vitilakam without being decorated malinam unclean viharsham morose samrambha with anger bhimam dangerous avimrishtam without lustre apetaragam without affection. Pashye, I have seen. Stanau, your breasts. Api, also. Shucha upahatau, wet because of your tears. Sujatau, Shucha upahatau, wet because of your tears. Sujatau, so nice. Bimba adharam, red lips. Vigata, without. Kunkumapanka, saffron. Ragam, color. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without tilaka decorations, nor have I seen you so morose and without luster or affection. Nor have I seen your two nice breasts wet with tears from your eyes. Nor have I ever before seen your lips, which are ordinarily as red as the bimba fruit without their reddish hue. Purport. Every woman, purport by Srila Prabhupada, every woman looks very beautiful when decorated with tilaka and vermilion. A woman generally becomes very attractive when her lips are colored with reddish saffron or vermilion. But when one's consciousness and intelligence are without any brilliant thoughts about Krishna, they become morose and lusterless, so much so that one cannot derive any benefit despite sharp intelligence. We are reading from this chapter. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt. As many of you have been hearing the series of verses spoken based on this chapter, here the Puranjana represents a conditioned soul in this world, and this wife of Puranjan represents the soul's intelligence, which is personified here as the woman, as the wife of Puranjan. Just as Every man who has a dharmic wife is able to walk the religious path very smoothly. Similarly, every soul who is accompanied by the dharmic intelligence, he is able to walk in general a pious life and a fortunate, even spiritual life, leading one to service to God and back to Vaikuntha. On the other hand, if one has a wife who is materially afflicted, or who is greedy, who is unclean, who is adharmic, who is unchaste, and who is money-minded, who has no respect for the husband, or she has some paramour attraction and things like that, then a man's life becomes ruined completely. Just like Prabhupada says in the Bhagavatam 10th canto, one of the explanations, sometimes in the sky, your lightning goes from one cloud to another cloud, like that it just jumps. Similarly, if a woman is not loyally devoted to her husband and she is attracted to somebody else, then she is like that lightning which goes from one cloud to another. And the husband is compared to cloud because the cloud is called Jaladhar. He holds the water. And then he pours down water in the form of rains. And that rains become so welcomeable for the earth because the grass can grow for the cows, crops can grow producing grains. And if the water falls on a seashell, it can produce pearls, isn't it? And the water is required for drinking, for bathing, and industry purposes, for everything. So in this way, a man is compared to a cloud who has wealth, and a woman is compared to lightning for her beauty. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Balita Sudhar Maharani ki. So, when a cloud and lightning are together, that is best. But when lightning jumps back and forth, that's compared to unchaste wife. In the same manner, if a man has a wife who is not happy, then he loses half his strength. Like if a man sees his wife in this condition, and she is lying on the ground, not wearing any ornaments, hair is scattered, she has not put a kunkuma on her head, and her face is dry, and she is weeping, and she is morose, not willing to talk. And that is how Kaikeyi was, isn't it? When Lord Rama later on saw that. But before that, in the sulking chamber, which is a chamber for the queen whenever she becomes angry. So Dasharatha came there to see Kaikeyi, and he was shattered to see her situation. Because on the advice of Manthara, she was lying like that, Kaikeyi. So Dasharatha lost half his strength, seeing her in that situation, and he was ready to fulfill any of her requests. Tell me, whatever you want, I'll give you. That is how Manthara tricked her to behaving like this, because she knew that if she does like this, husband will be ready to do anything, correct, no? So, on the other hand, if a wife is nicely bathed and dressed with her kumkum, with her jewelry, with her turmeric in her face and body, and her lips decorated with kumkuma, like here he says, Prabhupada says, with reddish saffron. In this way, when a woman is beautifully decorated and welcoming husband in a favorable disposition, and she's affectionate in feeding him prasad and talking to him in a favorable way, then that she becomes energy for the husband. She becomes energy for the man. So once Satyabhama came along with Krishna to one of the forests, I think Kamyakavan, I think. There all the Pandavas started discussing with Krishna. They became busy with Krishna. But then Satyabhama took Draupadi aside, and then she said, come, let us have our conversation, our discussion. She asked Draupadi, how do you satisfy your 5 husbands? Huh? Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. Let me learn from you how to satisfy my husband Krishna. Huh? So Satyabhama wanted to learn from Draupadi. Draupadi says many, many important lessons in the Mahabharata for the women. How a woman can be very easily successful and occupy the heart of her husband by good behavior. She sleeps late and rises early. She cooks very nice foods. When the husband is at home, she decorates herself very nicely in a favorable way by which the husband is pleased. She always speaks politely and in a way favorable to the husband. And she encourages him and keeps everyone at home happy, including the parents of the husband. And also, when the husband is away, she lives like an ascetic. She dresses herself very simply. She lives like a sage at home, performing more and more pious and spiritual activities. When the husband is back, she serves him. So many things she says there very nicely. How an ideal wife should behave. So Satyabhama learns those lessons from Draupadi. So here, coming to this verse here, when Puranjana came back, he saw his wife in this situation. He says, "My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without tilaka decoration, nor I have seen you so morose without luster or affection, nor have I seen your 2 nice breasts wet with tears like this from your eyes." It is said one should never make a woman cry. In any home where a woman is made to cry, all prosperity will go away. Instead of Lakshmi coming, Alakshmi will come, it is said. So Chanakya says in one verse that he says that Ajayuddhe Munishradhe Prabhate Megadampake. He says that whenever husband wife quarrel also, how should the quarrel be? He says. He doesn't say don't quarrel. He doesn't say. Yes, you can quarrel, but how should the quarrel be? He says, Ajayuddhe means when 2 goats fight, sometimes you see 2 goats stand in 2 legs, like that they fight. You have seen that? With two legs on the ground, 2 hands like this, they will be fighting. But anybody passing by says, "Hut!" they say. Immediately they will give up the quarrel. And then they will walk together. And they totally forget also that we were quarreling just now. They totally forget. So he says husband wife fight should be like that only, he says. When they are fighting, if elders come, either the girl's parents or boy's parents come and say, "Hut!" they say, then they should give it up immediately. And then they should again cooperate, he says. And then he says, like Megadambake means, sometimes in the early morning, the clouds may rumble, but they don't rain, they don't shower rain. Similarly, even if there is a little quarrel at home, which will happen in this world, not possible to totally avoid, but there should be no tears produced. If tears are produced, that quarrel turns into hatred. But here when he saw tears, he became afraid. What have I done due to which my wife is weeping like this? So he became very worried seeing her condition, that she is morose and she is weeping tears and things like that. So for a good family life, Prabhupada says husband wife should be like Lakshmi and Narayana, he says. Lakshmi is always serving Narayana at his lotus feet, massaging his feet. Narayana always tells Lakshmi, "Enough of your service, you relax for some time in my chest. I have a golden hair," you all know that, right? Narayana has a Srivachachina where Lakshmi rests there. So he tells Lakshmi, "You relax." But Lakshmi says, "No, I want to serve." So she is wanting to serve, Narayana wants her to rest. So Prabhupada says husband-wife relationship should be like this. Wife is eager to serve, husband should say that, "You relax, I will cut sabji today," or whatever. Then the relationship is a loving relationship. It's a very happy family. On the contrary, husband is saying, "Massage my feet," and she says, "Why should I massage your feet? I'll give you a kick." That's not a happy family. So when husband and wife exploit one another, it's an unhappy family. Otherwise, Lakshmi Narayan is the most happy couple. And Lakshmi never gets tired of serving Narayana. She's always amazed by Narayana's good qualities, Prabhupada says. So, these are principles for a proper Dampatya life. But here what we are talking about is the soul accompanied by dharmic intelligence. Now our intelligence is considered beautiful sometimes, or at other times our intelligence is considered ugly intelligence. Here in this verse, the intelligence is said to be ugly. Scattered hair, no tilaka on the forehead. Like if a tilaka is not on the forehead, it is considered like a graveyard or something. So, and also she has no, as he says here, that saffron, reddish saffron or vermilion in her lips. She doesn't have. Her face is dry. She is morose. She is not affectionate. This is like ugly intelligence. And beautiful intelligence means when the intelligence is cooperative with the soul, and it helps the soul to attain Krishna. That's a beautiful intelligence. There is one famous verse which says, Nakshatrani Bhushanam Chandro, it is said. And similarly it is said, Prithvi Bhushanam Raja, it is said. Narinam Bhushanam Pati, it is said. And Sarvasya Bhushanam, Vidwan Sarvasya Bhushanam. It says that if there are stars in the sky, what adds beauty to those stars is a big full moon in the sky. That makes it very attractive. On the contrary, on Amavasya day when there is no moon in the sky doesn't look beautiful. By the presence of the moon, the sky is beautiful. And by the presence of a capable king on earth, then the earth becomes beautiful. When Lord Ramachandra was ruling the world, it was called as Rama Rajya. And the whole earth was very happy. Everybody, the rains would shower on time, the sun will never be too hot, and people had abundance of wealth, abundance of prosperity. The wives were chaste, children were grateful, father was protective, and citizens were all aligned with the king, and the laws of the state were very strictly followed by everybody. Everybody lived a very happy life, and they wanted this life to continue forever. Lord Ramachandra's rule, it's glorified even today. He was a very ideal Rajarishi king. So, such a king is called as a Prithvi Bhushanam Raja. He is like a great decoration on earth, such a king. Similarly, Narinam Bhushanam Pati, it is said. If a woman has a husband, they both are, sometimes you see them, they come to the temple together, they offer a lamb together, they bow down to the deities, they buy some puja plate and they offer flowers to the Lord. And when we see that, it looks very beautiful, because they are cooperatively assisting one another in approaching God. Then the woman is beautiful. On the other hand, if a woman has left her husband or divorced her husband due to quarrel at home, she becomes single woman. She is not peaceful, happy, because like I remember in one of the colleges, one boy came and cried to me that, Prabhu, I am in this city, my mother is in that faraway city, but my mother has divorced my father. I am living with my mother only, but now mother is sleeping at home. At 12 o'clock at night, somebody comes and batters the door, one drunkard. Open the door. He's kicking the door, and she is afraid. She is calling me on phone. I told him, why did you leave your mother alone? You should bring her here. You should keep your mother with you. A woman always requires protection and safety from a male member of the family. If she is alone, she is divorced, she is alone, then you are the son, it's your duty to take care of her. I told them. So, such a woman, can she be peaceful? She can't be peaceful. Always she is afraid with so many stares of unscrupulous men who are like jackals in the society. She has to protect herself from such fellows in the society. And also, when a wife has a good husband, the husband gives her all the supplies, all her necessities, needs on one hand, and he becomes like a captain of the family to lead her towards God, because the husband is a servant of Guru. And being a servant of Guru, he learns many spiritual things and then guides the wife also to take her back to Godhead along with wife and children. then she is very peaceful and happy. But otherwise the wife is single and misled. And Prabhupada, when he went to America, he said, in India you will find husband wife cooperatively working. And then he gave an example. In Ahmedabad, once when Prabhupada was there, he saw from the upstairs down on the road, he saw there was a hand cart where one wife was sitting just below the cart and she was making this bhaji and pakoda and all she was making. And husband would pick up all those things and keep it on the hand cart and he would be selling. And morning to evening they would make money and then evening they will go back home. And Prabhupada looked at the face of the man. It seems that he got some accident on the face. His mouth was like twisted kind of mouth. He was not very good looking, ugly. Some accident he must have had. And his wife was good looking. So Prabhupada writes in that this thing, he says that although wife was very good looking, but she was completely chaste to her husband, whose face was not good looking, but her parents had given her in marriage to him. She faithfully lived with him and cooperatively they did this business of selling some eatables and making money, and they lived as a peaceful family. On the other hand, Prabhupada says in America, when he saw, he said, look at the women with their children and no male member to protect them. They become dependent on the government and pose burden to the government, and they have divorced multiple partners due to their false egos, men and women, both in the West. So in this way, the soul and the soul's intelligence, they should actually work together in such a way that one can go back to God. So therefore he says, Prithvi Bhushanam Raja, Narinam Bhushanam Pati, it is said. And then Nakshatrani Bhushanam Chandro. And Vidya Sarvasya Bhushanam, it is said. Like Ashtavakra Muni, when he came to the Janaka's court, his body had a twist in 8 places. Imagine if somebody comes here with his body twisted in 8 places, anybody would laugh at him, correct? No? But the moment he came to the Sabha, and Janaka Maharaj got up and he gave his own seat for him to sit on the throne. And then he sat in another seat with folded palms. He offered him respects and everything. And then when he asked questions to him, the way Ashtavakra Muni answered, the whole audience were spellbound. They couldn't speak a word. He was a greatly learned man. So even if a greatly learned man is externally ugly looking, but the moment he opens his mouth, then people's respect for him greatly increases. By that, Vidya Sarvasya Bhushanam. If somebody is a learned man, he can go to any part of the world and through his speech he can enlighten the people and he can awaken the people and he can become valuable in the eyes of everybody, everywhere, he says. Vidya Sarvasya Bhushanam. So, this is actually a verse by Chanakya that Prabhupada would quote whenever he would want to explain some concepts from the scriptures. He would quote some Chanakya Niti also. He would quote. Now, when we talk about beauty, a woman's beauty, which is external beauty, is only skin deep. Below the skin, it's all flesh and bones. There is no beauty. So whenever we talk of beauty in the scriptures, it is not talking of the skin beauty. Like here I was telling you, if a wife is cooperatively living with the husband and both of them learn tolerance, patience, humility and cooperation, then that couple looks beautiful, we said. That means the qualities, not just the external appearance. It is not just the external appearance. Imagine if a woman is very beautiful externally, but she behaves like a demon. Like that she shouts. Else nobody can come near her. So that is not the beauty that Shastras talk about. Shastras are very deep. They don't talk about the superficial beauty. Therefore, whenever the matchmaking is done, whether the woman and the man, are they Asuragan or Devagan and all, they see. Devagan means Sattva-guna. Asuragan means Rajoguna. Like, if husband is Devagan, wife is Asuragan, it's all right. Wife is Devagan, husband is Asuragan, it's all right. But both are Asuragan. What will happen? Big fight. It's like two hands coming together. You clap and then sound comes. Then it ends in divorce. That's why the qualities are seen. The qualities, the behavior. When we talk about the beauty, it is not just external beauty. Like a mother's affection for a child and child's affection for the mother is a very beautiful sight to see. Like you see the cow and the calf. It is not just the external appearance, it's the quality of that loving exchange that is appreciated by anybody. So, therefore, when we talk about a king also, why a king is beautiful, it is said, because when a king is saintly, when a king is aligned with God, aligned with scriptures, he is humble towards the saintly persons, he is protective of the women and children and old people and the cows and brahmanas and all. He is performing his duty in a very transparent way without any material motivations. Then such a king becomes beautiful. Again, the qualities. It is not talking about external appearance of a king. Or even a brahmana may be ugly looking, but if he is learned, if he is advanced in the wisdom of the Vedas, then he is respected by people. People don't just respect external beauty. It's talking about the qualities. Now, Kunti Maharani takes it one step ahead. She says, what is real beauty? She says that wherever there is Krishna, that is real beauty, she says. Neyam shobhishyate tatra yate danim gadadara swapadairankita bhati swalakshana vilakshitaihi. She's telling, my dear Krishna, now you say that you have to go to Dwaraka now. You are going to leave us at Hastinapur and go away. My Lord, without you, all the beauty of Hastinapur will be finished, she says. Because right now, Hastinapur is decorated with your lotus footprints. Because you have been walking here and your footprints are on the ground, shining. Swapadai Ankita Bhati, she says. Bhati means shine. 16 chinhas are there in Krishna's lotus feet. Like there is a lotus in Krishna's lotus feet, which represents that Krishna's devotees are like a lotus which is in the midst of kichad or like muddy pool of water. They never get touched by mud. They remain pure even while living in the material world. In Krishna's lotus feet there is a fish symbol. That represents, like a fish cannot live without water. Krishna's devotees cannot live without Krishna. That's one meaning. Another meaning is there is fish in the flag of our Madan, who is Kamadev. When you become Krishna's devotee, Krishna knocks down Kamadev's flag and stands on that. Therefore, there is fish in Krishna's lotus feet. You will see that. That means anyone who becomes a serious Krishna devotee, they can very easily kick away lust. That's the meaning of that. And there is also a thunderbolt in Krishna's lotus feet. What is the meaning of thunderbolt? Gopis are saying about that. Pranata dehinam papakarshanam prinacharanugam sriniketanam fanifanarpitam te padambujam pranakucheshu naha prandihrachayam. So they are saying, pranata dehinam papa karshanam. My dear Lord Krishna, anyone who becomes surrendered to your lotus feet, you destroy the mountain of sins into powder by the thunderbolt under your lotus feet. Like a thunderbolt shatters mountain to powder. Like the Krishna's lotus feet dust can shatter to powder the mountain of sins of the devotees. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami, he says. So, pranata dehina papa karshanam. Therefore, there is a thunderbolt. So, I told you about thunderbolt, told you about fish, told you about lotus. Then we can tell about umbrella. There is an umbrella in Krishna's lotus feet also, symbol. So, why umbrella? Because Indra, above Indra's head, they hold umbrella in the heaven. Daily when he walks, umbrella also is taken along with them. Like they do in Kanchipuram, Varadaraj Perumal. When Lord is being taken, there's umbrella above his head, which very beautifully moves like this. You will see that very nicely. So, umbrella is generally held above the head of very, very exalted persons. Sometimes when Swamis or Maharajas sometimes come to Mayapur or any other temple, sometimes they have umbrella for them. Which means, if you become Krishna's devotee, you may be an ordinary person, but he makes you highly adorable and respectable in the eyes of the world. It is a fact actually that even ordinary devotees became great devotees after they became devotees. Earlier they were very simple. One example comes to my mind. There was one man in the West who became Prabhupada's disciple. So at one time he came to meet Prabhupada and he offered obeisances to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, when I was in my school days, I had an aspiration that I should study in Harvard Business School and become an MBA in Harvard. You all may be aware, Harvard Business School is like one of the top ranking business schools. If you want to study there, nowadays you have to spend about 80 lakhs or 1 CR or something like that for your studies, just for doing your MBA there. So very costly affair it is. So this boy, what to speak of studying in Harvard Business School, he left his school only. He left in 5th or 6th standard only he left. He didn't study further. Anyway, later on, he met Srila Prabhupada and became a devotee. But in ISKCON, he became a great preacher. He started giving lectures in many places. And he gradually became so popular that one day he was invited by Harvard Business School to give lecture. And he went, all the professors were sitting, students were sitting, hundreds of them. So he came back to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I spoke on mind management. And I am really surprised. I didn't get entry into Harvard Business School to do studies, but now I am going and teaching their professors. So Krishna made him so famous. It's like holding an umbrella over the head. So in this way, Krishna's lotus feet has many symbols, and Kunti is telling, my dear Lord Krishna, I am seeing wherever you put your footprint, those symbols are there. Now you leave Hastinapur and go to Dwaraka, those lotus footprints will not decorate my Hastinapur anymore. She's telling. Kevayam namarupabhyam yadubihi saha pandava bhavato adarshanam jarhi rishikanam yiveshitu. Then Krishna told her, oh aunt, you are worried that I am going away. Your sons are there, Pandavas. They are all virtuous fellows. And in case you want, I can send my son, grandson like Pradyumna, Aniruddha, I can send them. For that she is saying in response, Kevayam namarupabhyam. What is the use of Pandavas and Yadus? Without your presence, they are all like lifeless bodies, she is telling. Lifeless body means what body? Dead body. Decent way of saying lifeless body. Kevayam namarupabhyam yadubihi saha pandava bhavato adarshanam jarhi rishikanam iveshitu. In a body, if life goes away, our hands, legs, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, all these are rendered good for nothing, null and void. They can't do any activity, correct, no? Can a dead body lift the hand or leg? They can't do anything. My sons, Pandavas, and your Yadus, they all are like limbs of a body which are dead. They can't do anything. When you come in their midst, then you give them life, she is telling. So, in this way she is telling, real beauty means bringing Krishna. When Krishna is there, that's real beauty. Similarly, our lotus footprints on the ground makes Hastinapuram beautiful. Like that she is telling. Then she is saying, Ime janapada spriddhaha supakvaushadi virudaha vanadrinadi yudanmanto hedante tava vikshitai. Tava vikshitai means wherever your glance falls, Krishna, that place prospers. There is great prosperity. Like Prabhupada went to the Lower East Side in New York, that Tompkinson Square Park. That place started flourishing. Prabhupada went there and sang the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Prabhupada would sing 3 hours in the park, can you imagine? Sometimes we get tired in 15-20 minutes only. Prabhupada sang 3 hours every time he went to the park. Later on, even other hippies would go and sing in the park. So, taking the small gong in his hand, beating it, Prabhupada would close his eyes and sing for 2-3 hours. So because he put the holy name there, holy name is none other than Krishna. That whole place blossomed from New York. The center came up in matchless gifts. From there, Prabhupada expanded to Los Angeles, San Francisco, then later on to London, later on to Russia, later on to Australia, all over the world, Canada. So wherever you put Krishna, Krishna expands, just like the Matsyavatara. It was a small fish, then big fish, then very, very big fish, like that. So she was telling that you are glancing at the nature, so the flowers are blossoming, the fruits are ripening, everywhere there is greenery, the mountain is full of minerals like gold, silver, diamond and everything. The ocean is full of navaratnas, the cows' udders are full of milk. When the cows are running, the udders are moving hither and thither like this, they are moving like this and it is dripping milk and milk is falling on the mud and it's becoming milk mixed with mud in Hastinapur. Simply by your glance, she is telling. So, it is a fact actually, because what is Krishna's glance? Krishna's eyes are sun and moon, correct now? Kshirodan Bratpadeshe Shuchimani Vilasat Saikate Moktikanam Mala Kripta Sanastas Fatika Maninibair Moktikair Manditangaha Shubrai Rabrai Radabrai Rupar Virachitair Mokta Piyusha Varshair Anandina Puniyada Nalaka Shankakada Panir Mukundaha Bhuf Padau Yasyanavir Vyeda Sura Nilash Chandra Suryauscha Netre. In this place in Vishnu Sahasranam it is said, the Virat Purusha is explained, and these two, Chandra Suryauscha Netre, it is said, they are your two eyes. So sun is the hot eye and moon is a cool eye. The hot eye produces rain shower and the production of grains, and the cool eye fills up all the vegetables and fruits with juices. 6 types of juices: salt, sour, sweet, salt, sour, pungent, astringent, bitter. 6 types of taste. Moon is only filling up all the vegetables and fruits. So sun is producing the things and moon is filling up with juice. So it's Krishna's two eyes only making the nature so beautiful. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti, Krishna says in 9.10, like that. So she's telling, just see how important your presence is. Without you, the nature will be dried up like a desert. When you glance in the nature, everything flourishes. So, in the same manner, what makes a temple is presence of the Lord and glorification of the Lord and service to the Lord and enthusiastic devotees who are coming together cooperatively to glorify the Lord. Lord says that Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta Tatta Tishtami Narada. He says, Narada, I am present where devotees come together to praise me, remember my pastimes, worship me, serve me, and propagate my consciousness to the people of the world. That is the place I reside. Lord says that. So, it's like if where Krishna is not present, it is like a body without life, or it's like a face without eyes. It's like that Kunti is telling very beautifully. So, now in the same manner, our ISKCON is very beautiful with Prabhupada in the center. Correct, no? If Prabhupada is not kept in the center, if our false ego comes in the center and we all have tussles with one another, I am great and you are great, who will have the control? You will control or I will control? Then that kind of quarrel makes our society an ugly society. It's called as position, power, politics, prestige, all this peace. So all this unwanted peace will pollute our society. On the other hand, keeping Prabhupada's instructions in the center and faithfully executing it, Prabhupada wanted us to do Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution, prasadam distribution, preaching, and donor cultivation, and cultivating big leaders of the society. And day in and day out, reach out Krishna consciousness to as many people as possible in different locations, expand our temple activities to the homes of the devotees. And Prabhupada wanted every grihastha to have some Gauranitai deities at home, invite the neighbors and colony people and put up festival at home, invite the sadhus, and then do kirtan, do pravachan, and then distribute prasadam. In Bombay, Prabhupada said we should have 5,000 temples. And devotees were shocked. Prabhupada, how can you have 5,000 temples? Today, if you see the Bombay map, there are more than 10,000 people having deities in their homes, if you see. 5,000, 10,000 families have got Gaur-Nitai. Prabhupada called each home a temple. Prabhupada said, Grihastha should come to temple, see the deities and get inspired and say that we also want to have deities at our home. Then they bring the deities at home. Not just keep deity and worship, but also call the neighbors and feed them prasadam. Give them Prabhupada's books and do kirtans and give pravachan. And Prabhupada said, you become guru of your area. You don't have to become a big guru influencing the whole world. You influence at least your lane. Whoever is living in your lane, get them together. Like when I was a small kid, we used to live in a village. In that entire lane, we were about 25 little boys and girls. We were all small. We were in 2nd, 3rd, 4th standard. So at the end of the lane, there was one Kumbhakona Tayar, one old man who was probably around 75 or 80. But he was still healthy in those days. He used to have a long beard. He looked like Vedavyas. Big beard and long flowing hair, a Vaishnava, tilak. So every evening after playing games for a couple of hours, then 6 o'clock or 6:30 we will go to his place and he will tell pastimes from Ramayana, Mahabharata. Daily it would be. And very, very amazingly he will narrate that. So now he was like a guru of the entire lane. Because he is speaking the glories of the Lord. Without much effort, he would get audience to come and sit. The whole lane would go. Children will be sitting in the front and little elders also will sit behind them. In this way, Prabhupada wanted every brahmachari, every grihastha devotee to, in their own places, lead the society based on his books, based on the commentaries that Prabhupada has written, based on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Then that whole lane becomes beautiful, houses become beautiful, hearts of the people become beautiful. That is real beauty. Because they develop Vaishnava qualities by that. Everybody is ringing the bell and bowing down. So when I was in Nigdi, in Pune, outskirts of Pune, few years I was there, 2-3 years. Then Vrindavan Prabhu used to come for giving lectures in Marathi. I would give in English. We saw within 3-4 years, almost like 10-15 families in the same lane took Gaur-Nitai deities at home. Morning you will see everybody will be blowing conch shell. You can hear multiple conch shell blows in the same lane in the early morning. So in this way, we can transform the world into a spiritual abode by bringing Krishna in the center. That is actually the art of making any place beautiful. Any place or person becomes beautiful. There is one shloka in Nectar of Devotion which says, there are some very low-born people, in some Pradesh it is mentioned, mountain area like tribal kind of people, some people, they are not very, learned, But those people, when they became Vaishnavas, one group of those people, then they used to have blackish bodies and they were wearing tilak and they looked so attractive. Although they were not educated, they were not learned, they were not chanting great Vedic chant or anything like that. But because they simply became Vaishnavas, early morning they would get up and take a bath and wear tilak. They appear to be far superior to Brahmanas also, because they were chanting and dancing and worshipping the Lord. So that's why according to Bhagavatam, even a Chandala becomes beautiful if he chants the holy name. Viprad Vishad Guna Yutat Aravinda Nabha Padaravinda Vimukhat Shvapacham Varishtham Manye Tadarpita Mano Vachane Hitartha Pranam Punati Sakulam Natu Bhuri Manaha. A Brahmana who is not a devotee cannot deliver anybody in his family. On the other hand, even if a dog-eater's family born man, if he meets the devotees and starts wearing tilak and wearing kantimala, chanting holy name and becomes a pure devotee, he can deliver all members of his family, he says. Pranam punati sakulam natu bhuri manaha, he says. So there are many verses in Bhagavatam like this. There are amazing verses. There is one more verse that comes to my mind. Yadyad bhuta krama parayana shila shiksha triyang jana kimu api shuddharanaye. What is that verse? Te vai vidantyati taranti cha deva mayam stri shudra huna shabara api papa jivaha yadyad bhuta krama parayana shila shiksha triyang jana kimu api shuddharanaye. Shruta means to hear, dharana means to hold. If somebody is able to hear the wisdom of the Vaishnava philosophy, and if you hold it in your mind, very soon you will get so purified that yad buddha kramaparayana shila shiksha, you will immediately accept a mentor. And that mentor will guide you how to chant the holy name, how to worship the deities, and how to deal with devotees and everything. Quickly you will find the devotee will start wearing tilak and kantimala, chanting holy name, wearing dhoti kurta, wearing saris, and beating mridangam, doing kirtan. They will become happily situated. Who? He's saying, Sri Shudra Huna Shabara Abhipapa Jiva. Now women often have anxieties in raising children, in the household chores and everything. But if they hear about this, besides their busy schedule of household chores, they will be able to take out time for God. Similarly, those who are Shudras, they may not go to a Gurukula and learn about God so much. But if they become Vaishnavas, they become better than Brahmanas also. Even Shabara and even all the Papa Jivas is telling. And they all can become Tevai Vidanti Atitaranti Deva Maya. They can go beyond this material world back to Vaikuntha. So anybody can become a devotee. That's the whole point. So in this way, everybody becomes. Prahlad is a 5-year-old child. He became beautiful because he carried Lord in his heart always. They always were chanting the holy name. The whole world talks about Prahlad because, although he's a small child, a 5-year-old child, because of being a devotee. Bali Maharaj is born in a demon family also. But by bowing down to Lord and doing Atma Nivedanam, he became beautiful. Adored by even great Vaishnavas. You can see that. What to speak of such humans, even animals, those who are in animal bodies like Hanuman or Jatayu, you can see that. Or even the small squirrel who assisted Lord Rama in his service. He would not have become noticed by anybody if he did not serve Lord Rama. By serving the great, you also become great. By serving the fallen, you become fallen. Therefore, we should choose to serve the great and seek the association of the great. So the small squirrel became a world famous hero by serving Lord Rama, by putting some stones. You can see that. That is the beauty of that small squirrel. The old Shabari who was in Nasik, how can a 90-year-old woman be considered very important? She may not be so much taken seriously by anybody in society. If somebody is 80-year, 90-year-old, except her son's daughters, isn't it? But Shabari became so prominent in the eyes of all the religious people across the globe. Why? Because she wanted to feed Lord Rama with some tasty fruits. That small service she did. And she became very, very popular. So by feeding that bear to Lord Rama, who came there to accept from her. So in this way, one very important concluding point I will make here. Nowadays, many boys, girls are feeling inferiority complex because of the heavy competition in society by making unhealthy comparisons with their peers. They feel that this fellow has cracked IIT JEE, that fellow has cracked the CAT, I am still a rat. They feel like that everybody is going high, what will happen to me? So we have to tell those people that even apparently insignificant people have become very prominent and famous in the scriptures, like I told you, the squirrel and Shabari and all. Because if one connects with the Lord, then Lord recognizes even a little person also. His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj came to Pune in 2004. We were holding a national youth festival. So in that he spoke one striking point which I cannot forget. Everybody clapped hands for this. Maharaj, in Hindi he said, I will repeat it as it is in Hindi. Maharaj said, he said, कितने लोग बड़े बड़े कंप्यूटर कंपनी में काम करते हैं? आप लोग बोलो, he said. आपके बॉस के हाथ में एक तुलसी दे दिया, क्या वो तृप्त हो जाएगा वो? लेकिन भगवान के श्री चरण में एक तुलसी डालो, भगवान तृप्त हो जाते हैं. He said. You understand now what he says? He says that if you are working in an IT company, can you give one tulasi leaf in the hand of your team lead and say that be satisfied? Will he be satisfied? He will say, here is the door, get out. He will say. He will put you on bench and give you a pink slip and throw you out the door. Whereas he said, Lord Krishna is such a personality. When he was kept in a taraju and all the jewelry were put Rukmini came and put one tulasi. Immediately Krishna was satisfied with that. So Maharaj was telling, in this world you cannot satisfy anybody. He was telling, you cannot satisfy your boss in the company. He will say, kya kiya tumne? You have to do more. Work hard. Bring more results. Similarly, one old man, Maharaj was telling, one old man who became 70 years old, he asked his wife, see, now I am old, now I cannot go out and work anymore. Are you all happy with me? What I have done for you? She said, kya kiya aapne? What have you done? He was shocked. I brought so much money. I helped in finishing the old house, broken house. She said, you only made a repair of the broken house. We wanted you to build a new house, which you couldn't do. So Maharaj was telling that in this world nobody can be satisfied. But Krishna can be easily satisfied if one becomes Krishna's devotee. So most of the people are crying in this world because they are trying to satisfy human beings. You cannot satisfy humans. Many humans are very greedy. But Lord can be easily satisfied even by a little service. He says, Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayatatmanah. So when Sudama Brahmana had taken this chipped rice, he was hiding it. Was he ready to give the Lord? After eating that big plate of prasad from Krishna's hands, he felt ashamed. Oh, after eating this, I cannot give the small thing to him. So Krishna asked, your wife must have sent me some eatable. Have you brought anything? And he was hesitant to say that, no, I didn't bring anything, I brought something. He was like stammering, he could not speak properly. He wanted to give also, at the same time he was ashamed also. So Krishna snatched it from his hands and then opened it and started eating. At that time Krishna quoted one famous verse. Anu api upahritam bhaktair premna bhuryeva me bhavet bhuryapi avakto upahritam name toshaya kalpate. Oh Sudama, in this world, if my devotee offers me even something very insignificant with love, and that insignificant thing like chipped rice becomes a great offering for me, he said. On the other hand, if a non-devotee offers me even chappan bhog like what Duryodhana offered, isn't it? He says, Name toshaya kalpate. That does not satisfy me, he said. So then Sudama became happy. Although he brought an insignificant offering, Lord Krishna accepted it. So, therefore, when you become a devotee, you will immediately see that great amount of satisfaction fills your heart. Your mind becomes peaceful. You know that Lord is not a cruel Lord. He is not a demanding Lord. He is not a greedy Lord. Lord is happy with whatever best a devotee can offer. Like Sanatana Goswami was offering a tree hole for Lord Madan Mohan to stay there. I am telling about Sanatana Goswami because we also have Madan Mohan here. He kept the Lord in a tree hole wherever there was. That was the only place he gave. And Lord was happy in that. Later on, one businessman came and helped Sanatana to build a big temple called Radha Madan Mohan Temple in Vrindavan. And then the Lord accepted that. Whether you give him a big temple or a small tree hole, as long as you offer your devotion with love, Lord is happy with that. You will see that. So then a devotee becomes beautiful. The real beauty is in the quality of our devotion. The real beauty is in our sincerity, our dedication, our commitment, our sacrifice. Tyagena, Shilena, Gunena, Karmana. Even Chanakya says these 4 things. Yata chaturtam kanakam parikshate. He says, Nigarshana, Chedanata, Patadana. 4 ways you can test the gold. Nigarshana means by upbraiding gold. Chedana means by cutting with a scissor. Tapa means put it in fire. Tadana means hit with a hammer. 4 ways you can test the gold. Similarly, he says, Tata Purusha Parikshate. How to test a man in this world? You should check the quality of man by 4 things, he says. Tyagena, Shilena, Gunena, Karmana. He says. Tyagena means how much a devotee is sacrificing. How much a devotee is selfless in reaching out Krishna consciousness to others. Tyagena. Shilena means what are the qualities of the devotee. What are Vaishnava qualities. And Tyagena, Shilena, Shila means character. Guna means guna, quality. Shila means character. How does a person deal with the opposite sex? How does a person deal with the money? How does a person deal with the land? And how does a person treat the other living entities? Character. Sacrifice, character, qualities, and activities. Based on these four things, you can assess what a person is. That is what makes a person beautiful. Not just external skin deep beauty. Skin deep beauty is superficial. So in this verse, he saw his wife externally morose and her eyes were shedding tears. She had scattered hair and lying on the ground. In the same manner, sometimes the soul finds the intelligence becoming like this, ugly intelligence. So, you compare this to, Arjuna lost his son, correct or not, in the battle. What's his name? Abhimanyu. And Dronacharya did not lose his son, Ashwatthama. So, compare these two examples. Dronacharya heard from somebody from Yudhishthira Maharaj, that Ashwatthama died. Immediately he lost hope and he started crying. And then he went into rapt meditation and then he was finished by that. On the other hand, Arjuna actually lost his son. And then he was weeping also. And Krishna came and told Arjuna, see Arjuna, this is no time for weeping. Otherwise the Kaurava army is rooting out all your Pandava soldiers. Come to battle immediately. He took the bow and arrow and fought the battle. You will see that. What do we learn from this? You see, the difference between Arjuna and Dronacharya is, you will see that Dronacharya easily lost his confidence and succumbed to lamentation and moroseness. You can see that. On the other hand, Arjuna, he also lamented, but quickly became duty conscious and committed to his duty. In our life also, many challenges will come, difficulties will come, things will be stagnated, things will not move the way we want it to move. But we have to be like Arjuna or like Dronacharya. You should be like Arjuna. Arjuna took the words of Krishna seriously. So the crying Arjuna became beautiful Arjuna because he followed Krishna. As simple as that. So aligning ourselves with Lord makes us ultimately and truly beautiful. Srila Prabhupada ki. I can take 5 minutes questions. Any comments or questions? Anandamaya Prabhu, can give him the mic. Prabhuji may want to comment, add anything. So Anandamaya Prabhu's humility is beautiful, isn't it? Anybody else? No questions. Now the question is, what time will be prasad? It's getting late. 9:30. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki.